Hey guys, my name is Rajan and you're watching Mrwhosetheboss. Today I've got something different kind of video for you guys. Not a comparison, it's just a reaction video from one of my favorite YouTubers, Mr. Who's the Boss. I'm gonna react to his video and this is the first time I'm watching this video. So it will be a very raw, thoughts and I really like Mr. Who's the Boss video. It's probably one of my favorite tech YouTubers currently in the market. So he has got a really unique style. So let's see if he recommends the phone which are really true value for your money, and let's see if I can suggest you some other smartphones as well. So yeah, let's start the video now.
2025 has been a weird and wonderful year for smartphones. It's the first time that you can buy an ultra-thin phone that won't snap like a breadstick, a normal-looking phone with a battery large enough to power a small vehicle, or a triple folding phone, even if it does happen to cost you and your entire family's kidneys. But which ones should people buy? Welcome to the heavily revamped best smartphones of the year, starting with the Glow Up Award, the most improved phone from last year. And I'd say there are two, and only two obvious contenders here. So, Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold 7 feels like a massive change, simply because of how much slimmer and lighter it is than the Z Fold 6.
Yeah, so the Z Fold 7 is obviously the one of the best improved phone of this year, because it has got slimmer design, better cameras. Almost cameras are as good as the Samsung S25 Ultra. I think it really needs to they really need to work on its durability, because the foldables are not there yet. It one drop and the screen gets broken, and there are issues of green line, blue line and all those things with the foldables. So I think the foldables are not durable, and if someone is using any foldable, I recommend them to use a screen insurance as well,
while also bumping up pretty much all of its specs at the same time. This one generation is more than the difference in thickness between the last 4 generations of Samsung Folds put together. And then the one that, beginning of this year, I would have predicted to be the last phone to be sitting in this category, the iPhone. Not the 17 Pro, not the Pro Max, but the base iPhone 17. I distinctly remember casually strolling into the Apple event this year, being totally prepared for there to be like 2 changes max to this phone, like they usually are, only to end up scurrying out of there a couple of hours later when it finished, trying to piece together my entire page of notes. Basically, everything about the phone got better. They took the screen from easily the weakest in its price segment to probably the strongest, and even doubled the base storage of the phone without touching the price. It's enough improvements that ultimately, I'm going to give the Glow Up Award to the iPhone.
Yeah, obviously the 17 is one of the best improved phone of this year, and I think I can recommend to anyone, whoever is in the market right now and trying to get a phone for around 70 to 80,000 INR. I will recommend this phone straight away, because if they want smartphone obviously in iOS, I will recommend this phone over the 16 Pro, because it has got very great cameras, and also you've got the stage mode in the selfie. So the selfie, the landscape mode, the selfie landscape mode works really great, and yeah, one of the best phones that you can get for around 80 to 90,000 range.
Never been such a sudden, obvious best time to upgrade. Now, on to something new this year, the Outside the Box Award, a phone that has some kind of unique trait that actually makes it better. So the ultra-thin phones, for example, the iPhone Air, the S25 Edge, they
just look at this guy's jacket. I think he is really unique for this kind of videos. Really wear something unique and it puts a value to the video. It looks really unique. So yeah, I think the editing and everything looks one of the best of any YouTubers in the market right now.
hit the unique part, but I would say they are worse because of it, because they die literally 30% faster than their more traditionally proportioned brethren. More on these later though. What was pretty cool though is the rear display from the Xiaomi 17 Pro. It feels like the most fully realized second screen experience. The personalization options are vast, and you can even game on the thing. But ultimately I would say, while it does give you tons of small useful tools, there are just very few big features that truly change how you use it. The smartphone that ended up impressing me the most with its uniqueness is Samsung's Galaxy Z Trifold. I went into my first hands-on thinking it would feel interesting, but gimmicky. I came out searching for what the fastest way is to transfer everything over from my iPhone when the thing releases in the UK. It is thicker and heavier when closed up than a normal foldable, but the reward of this enormous 10-inch display it has on the inside, that's widescreen, so content really makes the most of it, for me, finally makes the cost and sacrifices from carrying a foldable actually worth the pain.
So it's strange that he didn't even mention the Huawei's Mate X-T phone. Obviously, we all know that the Mate X-T is a better and more polished version of the Z Trifold, because obviously for a few reasons the Z Trifold has not pretty much usable displays. All the three displays that it has got, you cannot use it properly, but with the Mate X-T you can use it like a normal foldable as well. And I think the thickness of the Mate X-T is still little bit thinner than the Z Trifold, And in my opinion, the Mate XT's cameras is also a little better than the Z trifold. So obviously the Mate XT deserves at least a recognition here, and it's to me it's the better trifold than the Z trifold. So yeah, obviously the Z trifold is available in more markets right now than the Mate XT. Not right now, but it will be available. But the Mate XT's market is very limited.
Okay, I mentioned earlier that 2025 has been the year of normal-looking phones that just seem to have limitless endurance, but which is the best of these unkillable devices? Mind you, that doesn't mean which phone has someone just stuffed the biggest battery cell into. Optimization matters, charging speed matters, and most of all, is this still a phone that I would recommend buying outside of its killer battery? The iPhone 17 Pro Max deserves a mention here. This is the first iPhone to have a 5,000-ish milliamp-hour cell. When you combine that with Apple's optimization, it's the first ever mainstream phone that I would say has spectacular battery life, about 10% longer than Samsung's. But then you get to the supersized battery phones, which are a tier above, but there's also something that you need to look out for. That because of EU regulation, there is actually a cap on how large your battery can be before it is classed as a dangerous good. So quite a few phones that have anything over about 5,500 milliamp hours, like the Vivo X300 Pro, which has a 6,510 milliamp hour cell, they actually ship a tweaked version of their phone with a smaller battery to European countries. So if you buy the phone here, you would only get 5,440, which is why this isn't winning the award. The clever thing, though, that some companies have done is two cells, two separate batteries that
I really don't know the reason behind this using a tweaked version of the battery, but does this mean that country won't ever get a bigger battery phone in the market? Because in the upcoming years we'll be seeing 6,000 as a normal thing. But right now, I don't know what's the reason, and will this ever be fixed for that country?
each sit under the EU cap.
I think if I'm not wrong, it's for Europe.
But combined to give you more. It is a little bit less space efficient because you now have to have two separate battery casings, but can't complain too hard. It gets you the capacity you want, and it makes your charging faster too, because it allows the phone to split the load of current and heat between the two cells. All of which to say, the real battery champs of 2025 are the phones that have this dual cell design. So that is...
I think I know this, obviously, the battery champ of 2025.
The Xiaomi 17 Pro Max with a ridiculous 7,500 milliamp hour overall capacity and 100 watt charging. The only caveat is this whole rear second display is a little bit of a contradiction if you're purely optimizing for endurance. Even Realme's flagship phone, the GT8 Pro, has a dual cell, 7,000 milliamp hour capacity with 120 watt charging.
I really want to try this phone, the Realme GT, and it has got a record or something like that, a camera, collaboration, a DSLR camera brand. I really want this I really want a camera test of this phone.
I love this year of phones. And then the OnePlus 15 takes that 120 watt charging, pairing it with an even higher capacity of 7,300 milliamp hours. This also might just be the most comfortable that a phone has ever felt in the hands. It's like a baby's bottom. I don't know if that comes across right, to be honest.
So yeah, just wanted to mention quickly that the OnePlus 15 design this year is very unique. Like if you go and feel this phone in hand, you will feel something different. It's like the back is very frosted kind of feeling, and it feels much more premium than any other smartphone that I tested this year. So you should try it, especially the white version. You should try it.
I'm just not a fan of the camera downgrades that have snuck in here. Compared to the previous OnePlus flagship, every one of...
Talking about the design, the OnePlus 13, this blue leather design is probably one of my favorite design of a smartphone, on any smartphone. And obviously it's copied from the Oppo Find X7 Ultra, the blue leather thing, and I think it's really unique. And the OnePlus, obviously the 15 one, it's not looking that great, but yeah, the feel of the OnePlus 15 looks very premium. Like it feels
these rear camera sensors is smaller, which I'm going to explain why in a bit, but it doesn't bring joy. So the phone that I think wins the Unkillable Battery Award, it
has to be Find X9.
I would choose to use if battery was the priority, is the Oppo Find X9 Pro. 7,500 milliamp hours, basically as big as you can get. A pretty similar spec sheet and design to the OnePlus 15, but instead of a camera downgrade, this is up. This is way up.
Obviously, the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max also has got a similar battery backup, but obviously the HyperOS problem with the HyperOS, it takes a lot of battery, and the Find X9 Pro ColorOS is more efficient. So yeah, that's why the Find X9 Pro is the best battery life available in the market right now.
The only catch is 80 watt charging instead of the 100 plus that some of these phones can do. But then when you think about the fact that the iPhone is capped at 40 and the Samsung is capped at 45.
Yeah, he is talking about the 80 watt thing. And in my opinion, I have been using 100 watt chargers from the past years. But this year, the Find X9 Pro has got 80 watt and it feels little slower. But if you use the smart rapid charging mode on the Find X9 Pro, it charges very fast, but problem is it heats a lot as well. So yeah, that's the problem with the Find X9 Pro that I have faced so far.
It doesn't feel like so much of a problem. Now, where I think this gets particularly interesting is when we talk about the Filmmaker's Choice Award. Exactly what it sounds like, it's the best camera, but with one clarification. This award also factors in the camera experience. Does the battery let you shoot for a long time? Is the screen bright enough so you can see outdoors? Is the camera app really polished and intuitive to use? So instead of thinking this is just best photos, best videos, think of it as which phone would I actually want to use to take those photos and videos. So let's get one thing out of the way. It is not the iPhone 17 Pro. It is not the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. We're at a point in the smartphone market.
So, bros, the 17 S25, the Samsung S25 Ultra is not even there in the best smartphone category. Like, even if I have to, rank 10 smartphones, I won't even put S25 Ultra like there, because it's like, it's obviously it's a old phone now. It was released in February and it needs a lot of improvements, especially in the portrait mode and obviously in the night as well. So yeah, the S25 Ultra is not there, but he's mentioning it because it's available. It's one of the most popular smartphones there.
Where to actually take these cameras to the next level, one must pay the toll. Did it work? Is it nice and scary? You'd have to make your camera sensors wider, and then for those wider sensors to work, you'd also have to make them deeper, potentially making your phone top heavy, cutting into the battery, or God forbid, turning your design into this. So for companies like Apple and Samsung, who are not...
Bro, in my opinion, the Purity Ultra has one of the best designs available in the market right now. I don't know about you, but to me it looks very eye-catching. The gold color, you have to see it to feel the premiumness of the phone. It feels very good and eye-catching. The gold colors look very good, and obviously the Pura 70 Ultra's leather back was also one of the most looking for smartphones. But this year the Purity Ultra is obviously very unique. I think the camera module is also very unique. It's not there, like no other smartphone is using this kind of camera module right now.
Trying to sell millions, they're trying to sell tens of millions of their flagships. They are going to be very resistant to making changes like this that might feel like a compromise for 90% of people for the benefit of 10%. All of which to say, these guys can let themselves out. Pretty similar story for the Google Pixel 10 Pro. It has the highest number of intelligent camera features, but for someone who really knows what they're doing, you will be able to get more out of phones that have better camera hardware. And it's not quite the Oppo Find X9 Pro, although this is extremely close. It actually has almost identical camera hardware to the actual winner.
So it's not the Find X9 Pro, it's not the Google Pixel 10 Pro, obviously it's the X300 Pro, and
which is the Vivo X300 Pro. A phone that I would actually say is 2 generations ahead of the already extremely capable mainstream flagships. The thing
So obviously the X300 Pro is one of the most polished smartphone cameras out there, but the problem with the X300 Pro right now, according to my testing, is the portrait mode. It really smoothens down the skin tones a lot, and more than the Find X9 Pro and any others, obviously the X200 Pro. But the thing that the X300 Pro has fixed is obviously the skin tone. The skin tone is much more natural now, and there is no skin whitening there. So I think it needs a little bit improvement in the face smoothing thing. But apart from that, it's a really great smartphone.
has a ridiculously bright outdoor display, peaking at 4,500 nits. While it's not the very top, it's still well enough for a full day of shooting, and the camera itself is special. If you didn't know, Vivo, Oppo, and OnePlus are all owned by the same parent company, BBK. That's why there's so many parallels between their phones. But what's really interesting is this year, it feels like they're really trying to separate who each one is for. I think they've decided that OnePlus is pure performance. That's why the OnePlus 15 gets the fastest chip and huge battery, but scaled back cameras. And they've even scrapped the OnePlus Hasselblad camera partnership that's been going on for years now. It feels like Oppo is the halfway house. It's got most of the performance of OnePlus and most of the camera of Vivo, because they want this to be the mainstream all-rounder flagship, and then they want the camera enthusiast to go to Vivo, with its slightly scaled back battery, but the best camera sensors you can find, paired with the most advanced, smoothest damn camera software to ever grace an Android phone. And this specialization is kind of nice, because it means that if you are someone...
Yeah, he's talking about the zooming thing, and you will literally feel the smoothness. The most smoothest zoom that you will ever feel on a smartphone is on the X300 Pro, and the skin tones are also improved this year. And just wanted to mention that I'm a really, I really use selfie camera a lot, and the X300 Pro has very great selfie cameras, a huge improvement over the X200 Pro. And obviously X300 Ultra was also having very great selfie camera, but the X300 Pro has one of the best selfie camera available in the market right now, even better than the iPhone, not better than the iPhone 17 Pro, I would say on the level of the iPhone 17 Pro. And this Pixel 10 Pro XL also has one of the best selfie cameras too. Obviously not to forget the Huawei Purity Ultra as well.
Someone who is going to take photos and really pour
like it went down from the worst selfie cameras to the one of the best selfie cameras available. So yeah, it's a huge improvement. If you make vlogs or everything like that, it has the most natural skin tones that you will get on a smartphone right now.
for the details and appreciate the perfect skin tones, the Vivo is worth every cent. Not to mention its 200 megapixel telephoto camera, which is the closest I have ever been to owning spy equipment. Well, second closest. Last few holidays I've been on, I actually left my camera at home just because I knew I had this X300 in my backpack, and I way prefer shooting with a phone if I can. That's actually the main reason we work with Taurus, and why you'll always find me using one of their O-stand cases on my iPhone.
He should also mention the telephoto extender that you are getting with these smartphones. Obviously, you have the telephoto extender on the X9 Pro and the X8 Pro. Those are limited to these phones only, and it's a really useful kit. I don't know if you have used it or not, but yeah, it's one of my favorite accessory that you can buy on a smartphone right now.
Experience earning the Pocket Console Award. And I want to stress here, the vast majority of people, even if you're playing big intensive games, don't need a gaming phone. I'd actually say the best gaming phone for most people is just the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Apple just improved the thermal performance, the battery's amazing, the speakers are top notch, and games on iPhone are generally a little more optimized than Android. However, there will always be some people who decide that they want to go all in. And if you do, you can eke out that little bit of extra performance with the Red Magic 11 Pro. And this is a pretty sick phone because it's more than just the latest chip, most RAM, and a vapor chamber to keep it cool. This is the first smartphone to also introduce active liquid cooling. So vapor chambers, which you've now started seeing even in mainstream flagships, are a passive form of cooling. Think of them like a metal.
That's really cool. Like you're getting an option of the turning on the liquid cooling, and I think that's very impressive. But obviously, it will be so talking about the gaming smartphones, I think in India we have got plenty of options like the ROG IQ 15 and the OnePlus 15. But according to my testing, this year the best gaming smartphone has to be the OnePlus 15 because they have introduced 165 Hz and the smoothness of the PUBG. And I don't know if you have used any other game, if you play other games as well, but the smoothness that I'm getting on PUBG is one of the best. The BGMI, obviously, it's one of the best, and you will get very smooth experience, and it hardly lags. So in my opinion, the best smartphone has to be the OnePlus 15 for gaming this year. It has beaten the IQ 15, but if you talk about cameras, I cannot really tell. But yeah, according to my testing, the gaming is better.
Block with some water inside, and that water is just continuously evaporating and condensing by itself as the phone heats up, which just helps to speed up the process of getting that heat out. This phone has an actual pump that is actively pushing coolant around the phone. It's more like the way that a top-end PC's cooling system would work.
Like the
and when you combine that with
design
the
of the
two
liquid.
other cooling systems also at play,
It's very unique.
You can play Call of Duty or Call of Duty in the slickest way possible. So I'm crowning this the best phone for gaming, and it does that while also starting at a very reasonable $729. But I recommend gaming phone in the current meta.
Obviously, you're not.
Also, if you're wondering, there
you're
was
getting
no
that
Asus
poor
ROG phone this year.
selfie
Looks like it's
camera.
been delayed to 2026. Compact phones that make you question just how did they squeeze all of that in? Because there are a ton of premium compact phones. You've got Samsung, you've got Apple, you've got Xiaomi, you've even got all the flip phones. It feels
Let's see who he thinks is the best compact phone.
pretty overwhelming. But then you look closer and you realize that there's actually a very large range in terms of how much different phones give up to be compact. Like Samsung's Galaxy S25, for example. This is a safe, completely fine phone, but it is worse in every conceivable way compared to the company's bigger S25 Ultra. I'd say a little bit less so for the iPhone, but the smaller iPhone 17 does miss out on quite a bit of the battery life that you get on the bigger Pro Max. This is not the case for Google. I mean, while I don't think the plus-size Pixel 10 Pro XL is like the best big phone, I would say the smaller 10 Pro is a cracking compact phone because it has just bottled the entire experience of the XL with almost zero compromise, including the battery life. But there is one phone that I think embodies the one-handed hero concept even more so than Google, and that is the Xiaomi 17 Pro. This not particularly large device retains every single one of the bells and whistles from the bigger Pro Max.
The problem with the Xiaomi devices is its cameras. Like, I know it has got the back screen as well, but according to the HyperOS is not that optimized. The processing and thus at least it heats up a lot, and I think in my opinion there are plenty of other smartphones, the compact smartphones that you can get. Obviously the Xiaomi 17 Pro is not available globally. It's only available in China right now, and I have not seen any news that it will be available globally in future.
including, by the way, this whole second screen. And then, unlike the Pixel 10 Pro, which has a weaker than average Google Tensor chip, Xiaomi has a well above average next generation Snapdragon chip. And unlike the Google, which I'd say already has great battery life, this compact phone, I would go as far as to say, has extraordinary battery life. If you are specifically looking for one of the flippers, by the way, then I personally rate Samsung Z Flip just a tiny bit higher than Motorola's Razr 60 Ultra, but they are both great. The Moto's got a bigger battery and slightly better spec cameras, but Samsung's thinner. It's lighter and...
Yeah, I've got the Flip 7 as well, and I think it's one of the best, flip phones that you can get. Better than the Motorola Razr, and yeah.
I think Samsung's tuning...
Yeah, obviously, the Samsung camera processing is also better than the Motorola Razr.
It still take better photos than Motos. Right, it's time for the one that I take no pleasure in awarding. Who am I kidding? It's like my favorite category. The Why Does This Exist award for the most disappointing or confusing launch this year. And there's only one runner-up, the Nothing Phone 3. I would say Nothing's budget and mid-range phones have been, well, nothing short of category-defining devices. Their flagship, though, which they waited 3 full years before making...
I don't know about you, but I really dig this design. I really love this unique design. The white color stands out a lot, and the back display and everything looks very, unique. And if you hold this in public, everyone will look at you like, what kind of phone is this? And I don't know if you have seen its box. The unboxing experience is also big. Like the box itself is very big, and it feels very premium. So I think Nothing needs to work on its processing, camera, and obviously the gaming performance and everything, and obviously the UI as well. I think the Nothing UI is very good. I have heard only good things about it. But apart from that, I think the cameras need to be become great, as good as Vivo or Oppo or Samsung. But right now, I really like this Nothing phone design.
Was just very similar, but with a spec bump. And then to make it feel like a distinct step up, they added this weird dotty rear screen that actually just felt less cool than the Matrix lights from their previous more affordable phones. I still don't think it's a bad phone. It's just a slightly disappointing one, especially considering its $800 launch price. As for who wins then,
really cool.
or loses, you know what? No, it's an achievement. Let's go with wins. I want to hand it to both of these phones, the two-dimensional twins of 2025, Samsung's S25 Edge and Apple's iPhone Air. And it's not because I think these things are unusable, or because I think they're not a feat of engineering, because they are. It's still impressive to me, and I've had this S25 Edge for 6 months now. It's that I think both of these devices are absolutely beautiful traps. This shiny, alluring new form factor that is going to sway a lot of people in the short term when they're making that buying decision. But then long term, when you stop noticing that form factor and the battery degradation starts to set in, I think most of those users will start to become worse off because of it. They'll start to wonder, why are my photos so grainy when I try and zoom in? Why am I having to use...
Obviously, you're not getting that telephoto zoom cameras and everything, but I think the iPhone 17 Air and the Edge thing on the Samsung, they are very good phones. If you hold in hand, it's very compact and it feels very good. And I think they just need to fix their batteries thing. If they start using the silicon battery, the newer batteries, they will be able to fix it in future. And they need to add more cameras, because if you're paying 1 lakh rupees, come on, they need to give you the best cameras also. You just cannot bring the cameras only to the pro versions.
Power saving mode every day. Why is my phone starting to feel choppy after 20 minutes of gaming? Which are not things that you want to be wondering when you have still forked out $1,000 to get one of these. So what if you wanted to specifically protect your wallet? If you wanted to spend no more than $300 but get the most smartphone possible? Well, as with every other year before, Poco is waiting for us with open arms. I gotta say, their X7 Pro, excuse my extremely bright Avengers edition over here, this thing is the most appealing that a Poco has ever been. The fact that $300 now gets you a phone that can take great photos on its 50 megapixel main camera, is extremely readable in any lighting with 3,200 nits of peak brightness, and lasts for at least a day and a half on a charge with its 6,000 mAh battery, is so cool. So this is the clear spec maxing option. When you factor in though the overall phone experience, I would side very slightly with the CMF Phone 2 Pro by Nothing. You are getting a bit less hardware, but it's cheaper at $250, and it's got that Nothing level of polish that makes it feel a little more expensive than its pared back stats might suggest. The software is really optimized, the bloatware is minimal, and the phone takes surprisingly good photos with 2 50 megapixel cameras on the back. Oh yeah, plus the thing's modular with the ability to screw in a stand or camera.
Yeah, I really like this, this kind of orange look really cool and unique, and this kind of, camera module as well. So I think the design is very unique for the price you are paying right now.
Lenses, or just swap out the backplate entirely. So there are a couple of other options from Nothing floating around this $300 price point, but frankly, the CMF phone is the best value option. The overachiever award though goes to the mid-range phone that gives you far more than you expected. Enough to take it into flagship territory and even beyond in some ways. And the phone that wins this award in 2025 is probably the most immediately impressed I've been in years. So this is yet another one of those categories where I don't think the Apples and Samsungs take it. Those are companies whose entire business model revolves around protecting their flagships and who don't particularly fight to over-deliver on value. And even these phones, the very well-rounded Xiaomi 15T and 15T Pro, which now run the slicker, more stylish HyperOS 3 Android skin, the competition is heated enough this year that even they can't burn through. The two phones that truly do punch above their weight are, one, the Realme GT8 Pro that I mentioned earlier. This is by far the most stacked smartphone to ever come out of this company. Like, think of a current cutting-edge smartphone spec. This thing has it. All for around $750, and it comes with a screwdriver so that you can swap the shape of your camera module into a rectangle. It's probably the strangest extra on a phone, so laser-focused on price to performance. But even with its screwdriver, it's not the winner. I'm giving that award to the Poco F8 Ultra. A phone that has not just surpassed my expectations, it has walked in, it has slapped them across the face and rewritten them from scratch. Because spec-wise, this is very close to the extreme Realme phone, but it's a little bit more affordable. It's $600.
The denim design on the back looks really cute, and obviously the Bose speaker that they have implemented this year, it's really unique, and I think it will give you a very good sounding speakers. Obviously, according to my testing, the best sounding speaker that you can get right now is the Honor Magic devices. On the Honor Magic device, you'll feel really good speakers. They have got like the best sounding speakers, the loudest that you can get with good amount of bass, even better than the iPhone.
$79. It actually looks really smart and unique with this denim finish that has actually immediately become one of my favorite smartphone finishes because it's so grippy, it doesn't scratch at all, and it shows no fingerprints. And then the speakers here are incredible. The phone's a partnership with Bose, and so what they've done is built an entire extra subwoofer on the back, which is all I've been dreaming of from a phone for a long time. Now, I will say, temper your expectations. This doesn't suddenly turn your smartphone into giant Bluetooth speaker levels of depth or richness, but it's enough to make even one of the best sounding phones, the iPhone 17 Pro Max, sound a little compressed side by side. And I think that's quite the achievement, which leaves us with just one award to give. For the person who wants to pay flagship money and just wants the very best. So the contenders.
So this is the award that I have been waiting for. Let's see if he gives it to the Vivo or the Samsung or the iPhone or the Pixel or the Oppo.
Samsung S25 Ultra, of course, for just being so well-rounded. Everything about it is at least good. It's just that we're at a stage now where the chip and battery inside are fairly outclassed. iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, I love the focus on battery. And I would actually say the improved signal has been one of the most impactful upgrades for me in the last 5 years. But it's also not this, because Siri, and to be honest, iOS in general, just feels like it's lagging behind. Xiaomi's 17 Pro Max is also fascinating. It's just for me, I wouldn't deprioritize the cameras like this to prioritize a second display. I absolutely love the Vivo X300 Pro, as you've seen, and it is so close to perfect. It's just slightly lacking in the battery department to be called winner, which means overall smartphone of the year is going to its very similar cousin, that is the Oppo Find X9 Pro. I think that's the closest we've ever been to a flawless phone. The only flaw being that you might struggle to get one, depending on where you live. They even pre-installed the screen protector. Just 2025
I think I really like this video, and I think according to him, I really, I accept all these phones that he mentioned apart from few, and I think he has mentioned all of these phones that I also want to mention. And according to me, the phone of the year has to be the Oppo Find X9 Pro. It has got the best battery backup, and the color OS feels the most premium OS that I've ever used on an Android phone. And I think the phone of the year has to be Find X9 Pro, and the cameras are also great. The X300 Pro is also there, but the battery has to be improved, and I think if they improve it on the X300 Ultra, it will be really good. And let's just see next year if they will improve the X300 Ultras, and if they improve the X300 Pro and improve the battery. So let's just wait for the next video, and do subscribe the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.